RCWR show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what is going on, good kind people? You're checking out a all new The RCWR show coming to you this early Monday morning of May 31st, 2021. Happy Memorial Day to you guys. For those of you that are currently in the military service or you served at one point in the military service, definitely my hat's off to you. Thank you for your contributions, fighting the good fight, pretty much keeping us here, you know, in these lands safe while you all go out there and do what you got to do and everything. And however you all are spending this Memorial Day holiday, definitely from the Sanders household to yours, I hope that everybody has a fantastic Memorial Day. I'm definitely going to be kicking back and I'm going to be spending some time with loved ones, as this is pretty much it. This is not essentially the final show, but this is pretty much the show before our season finale edition of the RCWR show that's going to be dropping after Monday Night Raw goes off the air later on tonight. So hopefully those of you that's going to be making your rounds, checking this episode out, you'll definitely be coming on back. Hopefully you can represent and, you know, come on and represent particularly live when we get ready to do that last show for you guys. But, you know, we'll be back in a couple of weeks, like I said, but, you know, that's going to be our season finale that's coming up. But, yeah, it's going to be nice. I'm going to be enjoying it. Actually did some grocery shopping earlier today. I got some nice vegan food that I'm looking forward to getting into. Just follow your man on social media. You're going to see how I'm hooking it up and everything. But, you know, taking it easy, especially since this is pretty much the week I'm going to be going into my wedding, honeymoon, vacation, and all that. So I'm trying not to eat too heavy going into it and everything. So we had the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view event that went off a few minutes ago. At the time we're live right now, it's 12:10 a.m. on the East Coast. The pay-per-view went off at officially 11:58 p.m. Eastern. A lengthy pay-per-view, as if you want to get technical, you can say, well, it didn't start until 8, but then you think about the buy-in pre-show, which was at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and you can kind of understand about that whole length. To the point, I got a poll up right now on Twitter and on YouTube at the RCWR show. When you look up youtube.com/the RCWR show, click on the communities tab, and you can actually click right there on that bad boy, and you'll see the poll. Both of them are live right now. Pick your platform. Pick whichever one comes to your mind first and just vote over there. I want to know what you guys had thought about the pay-per-view overall. Kept it very nice and simple for you guys. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Dude, the length. Woof. Right now, looking at Twitter, I see some nice early votes that's coming in. We'll get to those results in a hot minute. Let's see how things are looking right now over on YouTube, because I did give folks prior to us officially going live, because I actually came on for a hot couple of minutes chatting with everybody. Let's see where we're at right now. And we got some early votes that's coming in right now on the communities tab. So we'll circle back to both of those in a hot minute. But overall, with regards to tonight's AEW Double or Nothing event, I would actually have to give the pay-per-view, honestly, I would give it a B-. B- is the best I can do. No need to go any lower. Definitely, I'm not going to go any higher. B- is pretty firm. So when you think about that as far as a 1 to 10 point scale, 1 being 10 being awesome sauce, you know, I'm kind of like at about a 8 out of 10. So hopefully that kind of reflects the B- rating. If you ask me what was my overall biggest gripe about the pay-per-view, just the length. just the length. I mean, when you just really think about that length of time, pretty much from 7:30 until pretty much midnight. I mean, that's a nice big block of time, and I do not blame North American fans, North American wrestling fans in particular, that have been looking, experiencing what they've been getting from the WWE product as of late. And oh man, well, you know, when it's come to these SummerSlams, when it's come to these takeovers, when it's come to these WrestleManias, we've been getting 2-night events, and you know, that's pretty good. We're able to get in there kind of in and out. You know, it's a good fun experience. Time goes by so quick, and everything is not so condensed. For the broader wrestling fans, you don't only see what WWE's been doing, but you also see what New Japan has been doing, as they've have shown over the years great tendency to break their pay-per-views up over the course of a couple of days. It could be just that same, you know, Wrestle Kingdom, for example. They could be stretching that out for 2 or 3 days or what have you. So, you know, for wrestling fans, that's a little bit more conditioned to, I'm used to getting these in installments. Tonight definitely was probably one of those nights that had pushed your patience tremendously, because think about it, especially if you're big into the sports. I saw a lot of people that were a little bit upset at AEW because they were saying, man, this is pulling me from the drag racing that's on earlier. And then you had some of us, it was pulling us away from the NBA playoffs because we wanted to see all the action that was coming on. For some of us, we were hoping that maybe we could watch the last game that aired for the night right before it went to the whole pre-show, or post-show rather, you know, covering all the NBA fallout and everything. But definitely a lot of time, you know, this was kind of one of those, I felt a little bad watching this, quite honestly, because I felt bad from the standpoint of, you know, my family was trying to, you know, chat with me and everything, you know, ask me more about wedding preparations, you know, go over some last minute stuff and everything. And I really couldn't interact with them like I normally would like to, because my mind is just, I'm right there in that zone. You know how we wrestling fans get when we're in that zone trying to talk about our wrestling and everything. But yeah, I mean, aside from the length, overall really good pay-per-view. The pre-show matchup that we got, let's go there. And I promise you guys, for as long as that pay-per-view was, I have a counter that is going right now as we speak. My goal for you guys that did not see Double or Nothing, we are going to do our very best to not, I repeat, not match that length of how long that pay-per-view was. We are going to try to do our best to be out of here in and out. And I really want to kind of do that particularly as a nod to those that's tuning in live. And I mean, look, you want to tell me what you thought about the pay-per-view and you actually saw the pay-per-view, this is definitely the platform for you. You can definitely voice your likes, dislikes about what all you saw tonight with the pay-per-view. So you're tuning in live, sound off. You're going to be checking this out on demand, maybe on the downloads. You could definitely still sound off. I definitely want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you thought about the pay-per-view overall. But yeah, we're going to try to have this be as condensed as possible, especially since we're getting ready to turn right back around and everything. Hey, first off, awesome seeing the crowd back in full effect. I mean, don't get me wrong, we were just here Friday night going into Saturday when we were talking about AEW Dynamite. In case of those of you had missed it, we did come on Friday night, late Friday night going into Saturday morning, and we covered Dynamite Fallout, went over Double or Nothing preview, picks, sprinkled in with a little bit of wrestling headlines. So check that out when you guys get a chance. That episode is actually available on demand in the downloads. So you saw the fans that were in attendance at Dynamite, and it felt really good. It gave you a really good feeling. I don't know if it was for you guys, but it definitely gave me a really good feeling that, no, you know what? There's going to be some type of magic in the air thanks to these fans that are coming from all over the world to this Double or Nothing event on Sunday. I just kind of had that vibe that, you know, the fans were really going to just will me and everybody else into this event. And they did. I mean, it was essentially 2, maybe 3 times more the fans, it seemed, that we saw on this Friday's Dynamite here at the pay-per-view tonight. And their energy all throughout was just infectious. Their energy all throughout, they brought it, and I really got to give it up to those fans. I can't tell you, just from a fan perspective, I can't tell you how revigorated it made me feel, how it made me feel so happy that I went out there among my entire family. I was among the first to say, okay, I'm going to go get this COVID vaccine. There might be some side effects. There could possibly be some consequences, but my mentality was, how is the CDC, and everybody involved in making these vaccinations possible, these COVID-19 vaccinations possible, how are they going to know what's working and what's not working unless they have those, volunteers? Sure, it entered its whole trial thing and everything, but still, there could possibly be that little room for error or whatever. How are we going to get back to that normalcy that we had before the pandemic if we don't jump out there and take that shot? So I jumped out there. I took that shot those shots because I wanted to get back to that sense of normalcy. And I mean, you guys have no idea. In 2020 alone, there were so many plans, wrestling related, non-wrestling related events that I had lined up for 2020. And all of it just pretty much went kablooey because of this damn pandemic. So now that we're pretty much on that end of, okay, here's the finish line. You can see it. You're almost about to hit it. It's just seeing those fans tonight. It's those little things like that. I'm sure you guys definitely would agree with me that went out there and you got your shots and everything. I'm sure you would agree with me that, yeah, man, tonight, just seeing those fans feeding off of their energy, how they were so into all the matches they got. Yeah, you want to be part of that. You want to be with that crowd. You want to be feeding into that same energy. You want to be vibing off of them. And man, and just not to mention when you go to these events, just the fact that you're able to make new friends in the process, whether it's as simple as just bumping into somebody and you strike up a conversation because you guys got the same similar shirts. You feel where I'm coming from? So I love what I saw tonight. Great taste of things to come. Knock on wood that no more lives are lost at such a extreme level, as it seems that for the most part the numbers are going more down and everything, which is great. The pre-show matchup, let's go ahead and go there. We got our pre-show matchup that went down on the card here, and let's actually talk about that. Let me pull up the card here real quick for you guys here. Boom, there we go. Rio taking on Serena Deeb for the NWA Women's Championship match. Girls went at it for about 14 minutes. Serena Deeb picking up the dub via submission. Woo, man, for a pre-show matchup. And this was our only pre-show matchup, our one and only pre-show matchup. By the way, do me a favor, for those of you that's tuning in live right now, if you need me to turn my mic down, my mic volume down just a little bit, let me know, especially if it's coming in a little bit staticky or whatever. Let me know what's going on, and I can definitely try to adjust it on the fly, but it actually should be pretty good. But I love this great back and forth between these two girls. I know I didn't shit on this match when we talked about it on Friday and the Saturday, but if you guys recall, I did say, man, this just feels so weird. This feels so random that we have this match with Rio. What exactly did she do AEW storyline wise to get in a position where she won the right to face Serena Deeb for the NWA Women's Championship? It was a head-scratching move because remember, we did the show this past Monday. There was no announcement of the NWA Women's title being represented at Double or Nothing. And if I'm not mistaken, because we didn't do a show Wednesday because there was no Dynamite because it moved to Friday. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was, and I'll have to rely on you guys for transparency and accuracy, but I believe it was Thursday that we found out the Rio Serena Deeb match was going to be happening at Double or Nothing. You know, you're just kind of scratching your head. And like I kind of said on Friday, if you notice and you really homed in on what I was saying there, I never did take a crap on Rio. My whole thing was, why are we getting this match? This just feels so random, especially since we're so close to the NWA Winter Shadow Falls pay-per-view event, where, you know, we still have up in the air exactly what's going on there with the NWA title picture, because based off of the season finale fallout from NWA Power this past week, Camille taking on Thunder Rosa, they fought to a time limit draw. You're wondering, okay, well, what does this mean for When Our Shadows Fall on Fight TV? Does this mean that we're going to have to see Camille, Thunder Rosa go at it again, and then the winner of that goes on later on in the night on that same pay-per-view card to face Serena Deeb for the NWA title? What does this mean exactly? Furthermore, we have yet this season really home in on this, because this is something that we didn't even talk about. So I apologize if some of what I've said so far has sounded a little bit recycled, but here's a new element to throw into the mix. Those of you that's been pretty current on your NWA, we've yet to see Serena Deeb show up in NWA. We got Thunder Rosa and we got Camille. They're going back and forth about this whole NWA women's title and everything. And we've yet to see Serena Deeb, where it counts the most, make her presence felt on NWA Power and all that. So all of those interesting little dynamics that we got going on. And I went into this match just kind of scratching my head. Why the hell is Rio in here? No storyline, no built up whatsoever. And I found it interesting to hear the color commentators say Rio pretty much had flew all the way from her home country to Florida, basically, to do this match against Serena Deeb and everything. Now, look, whether or not that's true or not, hey, whatever. For all we know, they could have said that just to make it sound really good and all that. It is what it is. I went into this match pre what I said on the last show. Hey, be kind of badass if we maybe saw Thunder Rosa and or Camille in the house, paying very close attention to this matchup, because hey, NWA When Our Shadows Fall, it's a week later. Surely they are going to be here at ringside watching this, and we got some nice little, there's that connection there. But we didn't get that. And I made sure I had confirmed with, and shout out to my buddies who I was interacting with in the Discord. We were cutting it up like a mofo in the Discord. I actually had bust out my Meltzer Lee gimmick. I actually did the debut tonight of my Meltzer Lee gimmick. And for those of you that like a little comedy, and shout out to Heim Fly, he's saying that the audio is good so far during the live stream. Awesome, appreciate that. Thank you, my friend. I was playing around and I was just doing these one-liner Dave Meltzer things, and I was just commenting about AEW. Sometimes Meltzer comes off a little bit very extremely biased when it comes to AEW. So I just was cutting up some funny jokes all throughout the night, and I had people laughing up a storm and everything. But I even asked the people in the Discord, I said, was there an appearance by Thunder Rosa and Camille? And they're like, no. I'm sorry, I didn't miss anything. Like, no, you ain't missed nothing. Because I probably missed about the first 4 minutes of the matchup. But pretty much 90% of that match, I was there. But both of those girls, I gotta say, far exceeded my expectations far as what I thought was going to be happening in this match. I mean, first of all, I felt that with the When Our Shadows Fall event coming up, there was just no way the title was going to change hands. I just didn't feel that in my bones, particularly with what I've been following of NWA this season. But they really told a great story in that ring, and particularly Serena Deeb. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to her work these recent weeks since she's come back from her injury and all that, but she's been showing a lot more of a mean streak. And it was on full display in her match against Rio tonight, right down to the point, you couldn't help but say to yourself, oh, okay, what's going on here? Is Serena Deeb going somewhat of a heel route here? She's almost wrestling as if she's got this nasty little chip on her shoulders here. But, I like the tone, because it was basically, look, this is who you need to be cheering for, and this is who you need to be rooting for. Speaking of rooting, I love the great ovation that Rio had got. I gotta say, contrary to how some people may feel about Rio, there are some very salty comments that's out there when it comes to Rio. But despite that, as we saw tonight, Rio is very, very well loved. She is very well received amongst the majority of the AEW fans. I gotta say, it took me back. I definitely wasn't expecting Rio to get any boos. I just was expecting for there to be not much of a reaction for her. And I honestly was expecting to a degree the same thing for Serena Deeb. But both girls, I mean, this was pretty much the type of crowd it felt like we were dealing with tonight when it came to these wrestling fans. These were educated wrestling fans that go out of their way, kind of like you, even me. They're checking out as many different wrestling promotions as they can, because overall they just love the sport of pro wrestling, and it's like gimme. They're like a big old sponge for it and everything. So I was quite taken back by these ladies' performance. They complemented each other's styles extremely well. There was a little bit of sloppiness here and there. I remember there was a roll-up pin attempt at one point. I forgot who was trying to get who in the pin. I want to say it was maybe Rio that was trying to get Serena Deeb in a roll-up pin, and that was a little bit sloppy there, because you hear about a roll-up pin and you say to yourself, how the hell can you mess up a roll-up pin? I mean, it's the most simplest thing that anybody can do. It doesn't matter your size, it doesn't matter your height. Anybody can do it. Hell, even if you're missing a limb, anybody can do a roll-up pin. But somehow that was executed rather poorly. But, despite a couple of little rusty areas here and there, overall, fantastic match. The girls, they told a really good story. And I dare say, they made me walk away saying, damn, this was so good. Why wasn't this actually on the official pay-per-view card? We should have had this on the official pay-per-view card, but really set the tone. So definitely my hats off to both of those girls. They did a great job. Did a phenomenal great job. But again, that match, those girls went about almost 15 minutes. Opening matchup of the Double or Nothing card, official card. Hangman Adam Page taking on Brian Cage. Hangman Adam Page defeating Brian Cage. 12 minutes. This match, per what I had laid out in offering, and before we move on a little bit further, and Willie, I definitely agree wholeheartedly. Thunder Rosa is a awesome lady wrestler. Yes, she is indeed. She is a phenomenal wrestler. I just can't help but wonder, and I gotta touch upon this because this is AEW related. So please indulge me, folks, because I know you guys want me to boom with the pay-per-view. But this is very important, and I can't remember the name of the person that was on our stream less than 24 hours ago or 48 hours ago. But he pretty much had helped me break in the news about what was going on with the Spanish commentating, and I pretty much had reacted to it in real time. In case those of you don't know, because there actually was a couple of people in our Discord that didn't even know what was going on. There was an AEW Spanish color commentator by the name of Willie Urbana, and apparently he said some discriminating, it was just straight up racist bullshit with regards to Sheeta. And basically the way it was set up in a nutshell, his male Spanish commentator collaborator said to him, hey, translate what Cheetah just said there. Translate Cheetah for the fans. So next thing you know, Willie jumped out there and he just went, I mean, he was literally mocking Cheetah, and you can just hear Thunder Rosa, Deja Fuentes. They had this awkward, kind of uncomfortable laughter that was going on. You could hear Rosa trying to tell him to stop and all that. But I really wish that Thunder Rosa would have had more of a serious tone. Look, I love Thunder Rosa. I love Thunder Rosa. I'm a big fan, big supporter of Thunder Rosa. It's so funny because I remember when I was checking out Thunder Rosa's work, one of the first times I actually came across her work was when she was in WoW Women of Wrestling. And she actually was under a couple of different gimmicks for that promotion. But that's how I first came across her work. And then I learned about Thunder Rosa, and I just remember trying to tell people about her. I'm like, don't sleep on this girl. I'm like telling you, this is somebody that you got to watch. So I've been a big supporter of hers. I was I won't say a little bit. I was disappointed in how Thunder Rosa had handled that because, with her name, the recognition, all the promotions that want to work with her and everything, I just would have expected for her to really put her foot down and really hammer into Willie. Hey, why are you making fun of that immigrant? We are immigrants as well. This whole country of, here in America, like we're all immigrants in some form. Why are you making fun of her? So I was a little disappointed that she didn't step up to the plate. Daisha, look, Daisha, we know she got released from the WWE, a while back and everything. So I'm sure many of you guys kind of know how it is sometimes. You leave one job, you go to another, especially if you don't really have anything lined up in concrete just yet. You kind of want to try to mind your P's and Q's, and you don't want to fuck that paycheck up, right? So, he got released by the company. I thought what AEW did, pretty swift and all that. Now, some of you guys may be saying, how does this tie back exactly to the match you were just talking about, Lee, with regards to Serena Deeb and Rio? Well, remember, I said, hey, what's going on with Camille Thunder Rosa? You can't help but wonder if there were any plans, even for maybe a Thunder Rosa cameo. She's in the stands watching that match play out. You just can't help but wonder if something had went down and it's like, let's just kind of scrap that right now. And, I hope that AEW doesn't go extreme on Thunder Rosa. If you ask me what's the worst case scenario and everything, because I know some people may want to try to they may try to have this be a similar case to what went down with what's our girl's name? What's homegirl's name? Tessa Blanchard. They may try to link this to Tessa Blanchard. I can see it, but we're talking two sides. It might be of the same coin, but these are two completely different stories here, and how they've kind of reached their respective conclusions and everything. We got to remember that in this particular case, Thunder Rosa was not the instigator. If anything, she definitely, you can make the argument she should have been more aggressive. You could definitely go that route. And then you can go the other route, which is, it's not really her responsibility as far as disciplinary action or trying to tell, he's the professional. He should know better. She's just feeding off of him. So it's interesting to note there has been, far as I know, and you guys can correct me before we end the stream if there's some up to date information, but Thunder Rosa has not put out any type of a statement with regards to that crap that went down. So I hope that because of what went down this weekend, it hasn't messed up the future relationship in regards to NWA and AEW. It doesn't appear as though, because if it was really that extreme, then we definitely wouldn't have gotten Rio taking on Serena Deeb tonight. You feel me? Actual pay-per-view card, Heyman Adam Page defeating Brian Cage. This went exactly how I had laid it out when we got ready to talk about predictions for Double or Nothing. Remember, go back to the Saturday show. I just felt in my heart of hearts Adam Page was definitely going to pick up the dub, but I felt that it was going to come at the hands of Taz trying to basically do Brian Cage a solid and pretty much represent Team Taz. Hey, we got your back. We're your family. You're your blood. Blah, 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 blah. And I figured that Hook, Ricky Starks, I figured that those guys were going to come out. They were going to play some type of role in trying to help out Brian Cage. And Cage, when it was all said and done, he wasn't going to have anything to do with it. And it played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out, quite honestly. I mean, literally, the shit went down frame for frame. Just go back and listen to what I had laid out just a couple of nights ago. It laid out exactly how I thought it was going to play out. I'm trying to figure out who came in with the championship. I'm trying to picture who came in with, because somebody had came in with a championship. Did they come in with a championship belt? I'm trying to think. No. I'm getting another match mixed up. But there was definitely a lot of distractions that was going on at ringside, and Brian Cage pretty much was like, what the hell are you doing? I don't need you guys' help. What the hell is wrong with you guys? Like, leave me alone. I got this. And he did not get that. Pretty much closing moments of this one. There was a German onto the neck. Cage then flipped Page, did a power bomb. Then he looked for another buckle. Page comes in with a jackknife cover, near fall, spinning clothesline. Then did the spinning sit-out power bomb. That was a near fall as well. And then Hook. Hook was actually the one to lead off the whole distraction. And then Ricky, yeah, there was a title. I was like, there was a title, the fucking FTW title. That's what I was thinking about, guys. I gotta trust my memory a little bit more. Ricky then tried to slide in there with the FTW championship, and he basically slid the title in there. He made eye contact with Brian Cage, and he slid the title in there. Brian Cage is looking at the title like, what the fuck you want me to do? No, I'm not gonna win like this. And he actually throws it right back at Starks. Page ended up setting up Brian Cage for an Alabama slam, but Cage ended up sending him to the outside. But then Page countered right back with a buckshot lariat. Got the 3 count. That pretty much was it. Page was celebrating, drinking a couple of beers. Cage, meanwhile, he's just shocked as I don't know what. And the last burning image that you see with Brian Cage, you see Hook and Starks, they're pretty much chewing into Brian Cage, wondering, dude, what the hell is going on with you? Why didn't you want our help? What the hell's wrong with you? And he pretty much cursed them out, pushed them to the side, and he made his exit. The beautiful part about all of this, Taz was on commentating. And just the fact that we had Taz kind of, feeding into the whole thing, and I loved it. I freaking loved it. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that had happened right there, but no, that pretty much was it. Hell of an opener. It was a beautiful ass opener. It was so believable, by the way, for those of you that might be a little bit curious, because Brian Cage has that height, he's got that weight difference, the muscle mass and all that, and you're going Brian Cage. They actually, the styles, just the way, because that's the thing about Brian Cage. You've been watching him long enough. Brian Cage can freaking adapt to any freaking style. I mean, he's got one of the most unorthodox movesets that I've seen of a guy his build and all that. Just some of the stuff that this guy is able to do in the ring, he should not be able to do it. If you need this guy to go in there and pretty much be a Brock Lesnar powerhouse and do some freaking powerhouse moves, he's your guy. If you need him to go in there and do some lucha libre shit, he's your guy. He can do that as well. You need him to go technical, he can do that as well. I mean, the guy is just a jack of all trades. He's one hell of a freaking specimen of a human being and wrestler. I got to tell you straight up, I've never quite seen anything like him in quite some time for a big muscle guy. Just the agility, the great flexibility that the young man has and everything. I'm very, very impressed by him. So obviously, as we progress into weeks of future AEW Dynamite programming, we're going to be seeing fallout from this. I would imagine Taz is going to try to just follow up on what I said the other night. I would imagine Taz is probably going to try to chew into Brian Cage a little bit. And again, how could you do that to your brothers? Hey, how you gonna do that to my son? They were there to help you. After everything that we've done for you, after everything that Team Taz has done for you, and then you pretty much throw that gratuity. You pretty much spit on it and you pretty much throw it in our face. I can just see all of that playing about, and eventually I can see Hangman Adam Page continuing to have problems with Team Taz, and eventually Brian Cage, he's gonna get the exit from freaking, when we've seen this. I mean, because the seeds have been planted for some weeks now, so we know it's coming. We've seen that it's coming, and pretty much what we got tonight was not really the icing on the cake, but you know how when you turn that pot on that's got the water in it, and you're putting your white rice in there, you're trying to boil some rice, and if you're not paying attention, it's just going to overflow. Well, that's now what's going on with Brian Cage and this whole storyline. It's now overflowing, and now we got to see how the cleanup is going to go down. But I can definitely see a scenario where maybe not so much Hook. I wouldn't be surprised if really Ricky Starks and Hobbs, if they were the ones that really made life a living hell for Hangman Page, Brian Cage, and then all of a sudden we've got this union here, this partnership between Brian Cage, Hangman Page, Cage and Page. Or do you want to go Page and Cage? I like Cage and Page. That kind of flows off the tongue better. I could see them having putting their differences to the side there to team up and pretty much, stick it to Team Taz. And then somewhere down the road, after they resolve that conflict, okay, we need to definitively have our one match here, no shenanigans, no, this person's at ringside, now we're going to finally freaking do this. I can see something like that. Coming about, because when you really kind of take a step back and you think about it, they are 1-1 right now. So somewhere down the road, there's going to have to be that rubber band match without a doubt. Hey, you guys doing good? You guys been enjoying the show so far? If you have been, please make sure, if you haven't done so already, you go out of your way, you hit that like button, subscribe, click on that bell so you don't miss out on all the future content that comes your way on a regular basis. Hey, want to also give a shout out to our Patreon familia. Remember, patreon.com/RCWR show. Check out bonus audio and video content you won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to our Patreon familia. Y'all know who you are. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Let's get into some more matches here. Our next match on the card that went 21 minutes. Young Bucks, Nick and Matt Jackson, taking on Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Young Bucks defeating Moxley and Kingston. Gotta say, was a bit surprised with this match as far as the turnout goes. I was very, very surprised by this. I thought for sure that we were going to get new tag team champions. I just felt that was the way to go. I felt that Moxley and Kingston have just been cranking it up these past several weeks. For me, as far as if you were to say to me straight up, Lee, what is one of your favorite highlights? What's been one of your favorite highlights when it comes to AEW programming? I would say off the break at the very top, I would say Kingston, Moxley. All the shit that they've been doing has been pure gold. I mean, they just flow so well. They complement each other extremely well. It's almost like, God, if I were to just think about some duos, it's almost kind of like you're watching, and I'm sure Eddie Kingston will actually appreciate this analogy I'm about to use, because I know he's big into hip hop, R&B and all that. He's into the rap and all that. Watching Kingston and Moxley reminds me a lot of Pete Rock and CL Smooth. No bullshit. It almost reminds me of that to a certain degree. It's almost like we are watching Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins with James Ia. It's almost like, it's kind of like one of those type of deals. I'm damn sure not gonna say Jimmy Page, or I'm not gonna go in that direction. But you guys get the point. I don't think I need to put any more analogies out there. But yeah, they complement each other so damn well. Their styles, just everything. And I've been enjoying them. And I thought tonight we were going to be getting new tag champions. And I can't help but scratch my head and say to myself, my God, if there was ever a time where you could have really put over a new tag team, and really build up your tag division even more and everything, this was pretty much your opportunity to do so. But I can't help but wonder, okay, so now what? I mean, the way it ended, you kind of felt as though this isn't over just yet. Moxley and Kingston, they're going to continue to come after the Young Bucks. You're kind of left with that impression. And hopefully this does continue. Hopefully this was just Act 1. And when it's all said and done, no, there's going to get to a point in this feud where, as far as the finish line, Moxley and Kingston will become the new AEW World Tag Champions. Because if they don't become the new AEW World Tag Champs, then I can't help but go, okay, so if not Kingston and Moxley, then who? Because Varsity Blondes, you pretty much essentially made that be a flash in the pan, which, we got to talk a lot more with regards, because we got that Casino Royale we got to talk about pretty soon. But, that's pretty much, okay, we forget about that. But then you've got what went down with Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian. By the way, quick sidebar. I believe in consistency in storytelling. If we have Frankie Kazarian cut a promo about 2 weeks ago, talking about his best friend, his brother in arms, his war buddy, and Christopher Daniels, if we got him making a declaration of how he is going to make every single day that the Young Bucks, Don Callis, Kenny Omega, Good Brothers, anybody that is associated with them, with that elite squad, how he's going to make them all pay for what they did to him and his brother, as he has a new focus and all of this other shit. Don't you think it would have made all the sense in the world to when they least expected it? Even if it were to backfire tonight, that's okay. But at least we're telling that storyline, we're keeping up with it, and it's all about the consistency. It would have made all the sense in the world for Frankie Kazarian to be there to try to figure out some type of way to screw them. I gotta tell you, I was anticipating that tonight. I was anticipating a Christopher Daniels at some point that was going to be in street clothes, that was going to hop over a railing, and was going to come right after the Bucks or whatever, while the referee had all of that distraction that was going on there. I was expecting for him to come in there, do some stuff. We find out who it is. Tony Schiavone, JR, and crew, they sell the hell out of that moment and everything, but come up short. Match keeps going. I was expecting that, but we didn't get that. I'm hoping that we can revisit that, because right now it just kind of comes off as if people are scratching their heads. And remember who was it in a recent interview that talked about? I think it was QT Marshall, maybe, that had talked about the whole writing process on how Dynamite is put together. Like right now, these guys aren't even in a room hammering it all out. These guys pretty much just have all these ideas that they're texting back and forth with each other or whatever, and somehow a lot of stuff gets lost in communication, and then day of the show, there's even more rewriting that has to go down, because not everybody is on the same page about what needs to go down. You feel where I'm coming from? So hopefully we can see what's going on with that in the next coming weeks. But if it's not the Varsity Blondes, if it's not going to be Luchasaurus, Okay, so who is it? If it's not going to be Kingston and Moxley, then who? You know, you can't help but wonder. So hopefully though we're going in that direction. Damn good tag team matchup between these respected teams though. I gotta say, you know me when it comes to the Young Bucks, and I've told you guys about this repeatedly over the years about the Young Bucks. What type of Young Bucks are you gonna get? Are you gonna get the Young Bucks that want to go in there and they want to tell a riveting story, or are you gonna get the Young Bucks that, you know, dial it up? It's all about those, you know, those favorite hits, you know, the greatest hits. Which type of Bucks are you gonna get? And the Bucks that we got tonight, nah, they came in there lunch pail and all that. I loved it. It's definitely one of my favorite matches. Shout out to Joshua, who says he's at the hospital, so he sadly had missed the AEW Double or Nothing pay-per-view event. Sorry to hear about that. Hopefully everything is good. Hopefully you're just passing through the hospital, and you'll be out of there. Rather soon. I don't know if it was Joshua or if it was another listener of the show from either last week or the week before, but somebody was having some personal issues. Somebody was having some personal issues that was going on, and I remember they had said something along the lines of they were very appreciative that shows like mine was floating around to really help them out and everything. So not sure who that person was, and if that was Joshua, yay, sorry, I forgot about that, but at least I kind of remembered there. Let's keep rocking and rolling. We got some more action we could talk about here. We're on our fourth match now, our Casino Battle Royale for a future AEW World Championship match. As far as your participants go in this one, let me try to see, because I actually did not take the names down of the people that were in this one. But let me see if I can actually get you guys the names for this one. Christian, Matt Seidel, Will Hobbs, Max Caster, Dustin Rhodes. They all are pretty much out there first. See, and then later on it gets followed up by, I'm trying to see who else comes out here. The Diamonds, Matt Hardy, out came Cassidy. See, Nick Comoroto, Serpentinko, Luther, Nick and 10. Let's see. Hearts are next. Cassidy. Let's see. Hang on. Yeah, Hearts are out next. Brian Pillman Jr., Garrison. They come out. Colt Cabana. Colt Cabana actually came out with Brody Lee's jacket. I thought that was a nice little touch right there. Anthony Bowens came out next. Penta El Zero, he definitely gets the nod of the night because my man came out Joker inspired attire. He must be on cloud 9 as I was. I don't know how many of you guys had actually heard about this, but if y'all remember Joaquin Phoenix in Joker from just a couple of years ago, the green light has been given. There is going to be a Joker 2. And if I'm not mistaken, the director, the writer, I think it was Todd Phillips, he's actually penning it as we speak. He's coming back and all that. So I think that was just so fucking cool that Penta actually came out with his attire, Joker inspired. It looked fucking wicked. I loved it. I freaking loved it. Yo, to the people at AEW Games, and you're thinking about future downloadable content and everything, you should definitely try to make that costume be available. You would definitely get many people that would appreciate that. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Final Shuffle happens. Jungle Boy comes out. Let's see. Who else come out? Aaron Solal. Let's see. I think that's it. I don't think I'm missing any other names. I'm just kind of quickly just skimming my notes. Forgive me if I did mix a couple of names there. As far as who was the Joker card, the Joker card was none other than Lio Rush. It was Lio Rush. Lio Rush got a nice ovation from the crowd. It was awesome. Again, this was one of those type of wrestling fans. I know some of the terminology that's out there. You hear mark, you hear smart, and I try to do my best not to use that type of terminology, because I just don't believe in labeling people. Although, for full transparency, I gotta say, what Tony Khan had put out there this week about what WWE is possibly trying to do with New Japan Pro Wrestling, I did kind of feel as though Tony was being a little bit too much of a mark for himself. And it was interesting because I had a couple of nice interactions, some nice back and forths with people about that Tony Khan piece. And one guy said, well, who isn't a mark for themselves? Everybody is a mark for themselves. And I just couldn't help but say, gee, out of that 100%, I must be that 1% that's not for a mark of themselves, because I'm always very hard on myself, right down to the point. Every single show that I put out there and everything, I'm always hard on myself. I'm always going, man, what could I have done to make that show even better? Oh man, it just kind of seemed like my energy was a little bit too low right here. I wish I could have brought more energy. Oh man, I forgot to bring up this point. Oh, what really would have been good additional thoughts if I would have. So I'm always beating myself up, challenging myself even more. Okay, next show. Like, even when I finally feel as though, no, I did the best complete show, I'm still never satisfied. It's okay. Well, that's in the books now. Let's go on and let's see if we can hit another home run and everything. So I just thought it was interesting that one of the people had said, well, who isn't a mark for themselves? I was like, nah, well, not me. I'm not really a mark for myself. So, we got those terminologies that's floating around and everything. But in this particular case, when Lio Rush came out, great ovation. This was a wrestling crowd that knew their guys and their gals. This was a wrestling crowd, they came prepared. And I was loving it. I was loving for Lio Rush. I just couldn't help but just take a step back and just go, damn, I'm actually happy for this dude. I actually loved the work that he was doing for Bobby Lashley. I loved what he was doing there. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you can't help but wonder, would Lashley have gotten to where he is right now? Would he have gotten there if Lio Rush had continued to be by his side? That's kind of up for debate. We'll never really know. Does MVP compliment Lashley a lot more than Lio Rush? I think even the most hardcore Lio Rush fan would say, yeah, in this instance, yeah, MVP actually compliments Lashley more than, could you just really take a step back? Could you imagine Lio Rush being the one that pretty much in storyline orchestrates the whole Hurt Business and all that? I'm having a hard time really seeing that. You feel me? So, but it was great seeing him get the reaction that he had got tonight. He was only in there for a hot cup of coffee, though, man. The guy's in there. He's not even involved in this match for not even 5 minutes, and he got eliminated so quickly. And it's funny too, because for those of us that kind of follow the career of Lio Rush, and it was like, oh hey, cool, Lio Rush. I guess for a lot of people, they were kind of expecting a Goldberg. They were expecting a Brock Lesnar. They were expecting a CM Punk. They were expecting a huge big name. They were expecting a huge big name to come out. And you know what it reminded me of? Just seeing everybody's reactions to it in forums. chat rooms and all that. You know what it kind of reminded me of? It reminded me of that WrestleMania from a couple of years ago where number 30 hits and you're like, all right, who's going to be the last person? And poor little Rey Mysterio comes out and he got booed out the goddamn arena. Remember that? And it was almost kind of like, but see, here's the thing. The fans that were in attendance tonight, they were cheering the hell out of Lio Rush. But some of the outlets where I was tonight, it was really Lio Rush? Real man, come on. You couldn't get anybody else. It was one of those type of deals. So I understand where some people are coming from and everything, but I personally didn't have a problem with Lio Rush drawing the Joker card and everything. I didn't have a problem with that whatsoever. So your winner of this Casino Royale match, it ended up being one Jungle Boy. As the final two participants, it was Jungle Boy, Christian Cage. At this point, you're looking at this, you're kind of saying to yourself, well, not for nothing, but the way that they've been building up Christian Cage, I don't blame folks that kind of maybe looked at this and said, okay, it's going to be Christian Cage. Christian Cage is going to be the one that is going to essentially, maybe dethrone Kenny Omega. It's going to be him. But the fact that they actually went with Jungle Boy, I just was like, okay, this is an awesome, pleasant surprise. Did not see this one coming whatsoever. I tell you what, Jungle Boy got such a great ovation. When you take a step back, and again, for those of you that didn't see the pay-per-view tonight, when you want to talk about who had the best reaction in this Casino Royale match, Jungle Boy, hands down, at number one. He had the best freaking reaction. I would also say that Penta, I would probably put him at number two. Maybe, yeah, I'll definitely give him number two. Just going back one more time and looking at all the names of the participants that was in this one. Again, just feeding off of the crowd reaction and all that. Actually, no, I would put Penta at number three. My number one would be Jungle Boy. My number two would be Lio Rush. Number three would be Penta. I don't think anybody that saw the pay-per-view would have any issue with that order whatsoever. But yeah, those were the three that really stood out to me the most. But Jungle Boy, I mean, Roof just pretty much blew off that joint. And Jungle Boy advances, so he gets a future shot against the AEW World Champion. That's going to be going down on Dynamite. I believe they said in about 2 weeks. There was so much information they tried to cram into this pay-per-view in setting up this coming week's Dynamite. A lot of it I honestly had missed and everything. But the fact that they went with Jungle Boy, I was cool with that. There was a part of me that was a little bit kind of heartbroken that they did not go in the direction of Brian Pillman Jr. And to quote JR to a certain degree, I love the fact that JR touched on the fact that Brian Pillman Jr. has been receiving so much admiration, so much love, new fanfare for the Dark Side of the Ring documentary on his dad that came out a couple of weeks ago. I love the fact that JR had said that, because to my knowledge, if it was said on Dynamite, you guys got to forgive me, I missed it obviously, but for me, what I heard tonight, that was for me the very first time that, okay, on a much grander scale. You can say to me, oh no, Lee, they mentioned it on the YouTube shows and all that. Like, I don't, sadly, not many people watch the YouTube shows. They're mainly watching the TNT stuff or the pay-per-views. So it definitely perked my ears with delight to hear JR, give that little nod and everything. And I gotta say, I was, as far as who I was rooting for, I thought that it was going to be Brian Pillman. I did. That's despite what I had said when I was offering picks, because remember what I said when I was offering picks. I felt that whoever was the to be announced opponent for this Casino Royale, I felt that maybe they were going to be the ones to win it. And then remember what I also said. I went with a dark horse. I said, as far as a dark horse that could win the whole thing, I went with Pillman Jr. So the fact that, you know, it didn't even go in that direction, it was kind of like, you know. But I'm happy for Jungle Boy. I can't wait to see what happens in a couple of weeks when he gets ready to lock it up with the AEW champion. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling. Let's go with the next matchup on the card. And you know what? One thing I got to say, you know, I like the fact that with what AEW did tonight, with Jungle Boy winning, you know, they really tried to go that extra effort. And I definitely want to make sure I show them a lot of love for this. They went that extra mile to, okay, we got to try to establish new stars. We got to try to, you know, we can't keep looking at the older guys that's coming in here. You know, no disrespect to the Moxleys, the Christians, insert. You know, we got to try to do our best to build up these fresh new faces and everything. And all in the name of, you know, helping the overall product, you know, move forward, but also connecting and capitalizing on those age demographics that's checking out your product and everything. So it was a smart move what they did there, putting Jungle Boy in that position. And that Casino Royale match, that went about 23 minutes. Next up, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes defeating Anthony Ogogo. 10 minutes, 55 seconds. Yo, why my man Cody Rhodes came out and his whole attire, all I was thinking about when I was looking at his attire, I just wanted to go downstairs. I wanted to go in my pantry. And I just wanted to have a nice big ass fat bowl of Captain Crunch cereal. No bull, man. You got to look at that costume, man. I mean, that costume was no bull. You guys got it. I didn't see the pay-per-view. You got to pull up the image of his attire tonight. And I mean, the only thing that was missing was the damn Captain Crunch freaking hat, man. That was the only thing that was missing. But yeah, brother was making me hungry with that attire, man. Seriously. I know some of you guys, what about Blueberry Captain Crunch? It has its moments. I gotta actually be fiending for it, but give me the original, man. I'm a sucker for the original. Give me the freaking original. I will tear that up. I really ain't supposed to be having that though because of my diabetes, but I sure as hell was tempted. I was ready to go down there, and I was ready to. I stick to the Honey Nut Cheerios and the Special K and what's the other one I do? Rice Krispies, the original Rice Krispies. True story. I tried Cocoa Rice Krispies for the very first time 2 days ago because I was eating breakfast with my girl, and you know, we're eating and everything. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, I'm doing Cocoa Rice Krispies. I'm like, oh. I said, I've always wanted to try that. I've yet to try that. She's like, really? I was like, yeah, I've yet to try that. She's like, oh, we'll have some. Nasty, yo. Freaking nasty. Never again. Sounds good at first, don't it? It sounds good at first, but then you're like, on second thought, no. All right, next matchup here. What we got on the card for you guys? By the way, you guys good? Y'all doing okay? Shout out. Let me know you guys doing all right. Of course, you already know what to do if you're enjoying the show so far. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling. Cody Rhodes, Anthony Ogogo. 10 minutes, 55 minutes. Cody defeating Anthony Ogogo. The fact that I've been silent this long, this should let you know that. Dudes, no bullshit. I love Cody. I respect the hell out of Cody. What have I always been consistent about? For you guys that you check me out, you know I try to do my best to be very fair to all wrestling promotions that I talk about on here, definitely to AEW. What's the number one thing about Cody? I've always said, if you've been listening long enough, I've always said, hey, when it comes to Cody Rhodes and his matches, man, you know Cody is going to bring it. When it comes to Cody and he's involved in his respective story arcs, he's always bringing it. His is the most complete. It's the most well thought out. It's the most well executed. Man, this just fell so flat. So flat. Where do you begin? Do you maybe go with the fact of something that I brought up the other night? Do you bring up the fact that there was no type of gimmick stipulation thing that was going on with this match? You know, the fact that it wasn't maybe a I quit match. You know, loser that says I quit has to freaking leave America for 90 days or some shit like that. Just weird that there was no type of stipulation that was added to this. You felt that maybe they were trying to go for a Rocky 4 vibe, but the execution just overall flat on so many levels. You know, and when you go to this match itself, look, I'll give praise where praise definitely needs to be given. Anthony Ogogo in here looked like a fucking beast. I mean, you're looking at him, you're seeing how he's able to hang with Cody and all. You're going, yeah, this young brother, he got mad potential. He got mad potential to move up the card and everything. You could definitely see him being a future TNT champion. You could definitely, under the right circumstances, see him being a future world heavyweight champion and all that. You could definitely see all of those things. It was a fantastic showing for Anthony Ogogo. But of all the, you know, I won't say Cody went above and beyond to really, because we've seen Cody really go above and beyond for somebody. You know, QT Marshall comes to mind. Who's another one that comes to mind that he really, while he was a TNT champion, if you throw a name out me, like I'll be able to say, yeah, that guy. But we've seen him. It's like, why is he really playing up this guy? You know, because sometimes you would look at his matches and you would go, dude, dial it back. This should be a squash match. You should be done with this guy in like freaking 3 minutes. You know, why are we turning what should be a 3-minute match into a damn near 20-minute match? Like, nah, what the hell? But with this one, Cody, that is, he definitely went there and he went there and tried to help out Ogogo, but this was not one of the best Cody Rhodes matches that I've seen. Just the way that the match was laid out. The fact that you didn't have any type of a gimmick behind it whatsoever. The shortness of this match. You do all of this build up and everything. And it pretty much just ends with Cody pretty much doing a freaking vertebraker to get the 3 count. All right, so he also beats Anthony Ogogo cleanly in the middle of the ring. We don't even get post-match. We don't even get Anthony Ogogo jumping the hell out of Cody afterwards, being a sore loser, and at least, okay, we're continuing on here. It just feels as though the way this just felt, okay, we're going to take this up to the pay-per-view. And yeah, after that, we're pretty much done. That's just pretty much how it felt. It felt like, okay, Cody's in and he's out. That's how it felt. So y'all gotta forgive me if, you know, because I know for a lot of you guys, Cody's your boy and everything. But for me, I expected a lot more out of this matchup. And honestly, if they were gonna operate like this, then I tell you what, this match should have been the pre-show. And the Rio taking on Serena Deeb they should have swapped, and it was on the actual pay-per-view card instead. Miro taking on Lance Archer. This is for the TNT Championship. Both men coming out of this looking fantastic. Miro looking like a absolute beast. Miro looking like a absolute freaking freak. Miro looking like a freaking psychopath. I loved it. I freaking loved this. There was a spot where, and I love how everyone's going, PETA, call PETA, animal abuse. There was a throwing of a snake and all that. Archer looked pretty good. I've never seen Lance Archer for as long as he's been involved in AEW. Maybe not since what I'm trying to think. Maybe not since with Cody, but I have not seen Lance Archer get thrown around the way he was being thrown around in this one. Yeah, a little bit of sloppiness here and there on this matchup, but I'll tell you this. Because you could have followed the crowd reaction for Ogogo and Cody Rhodes, and you could tell the crowd was a bit lost there. The crowd, you were losing the crowd when it came to that matchup, and pretty much Miro Archer. Okay, we got to go out and we gotta try to follow that. I felt that what these guys did was definitely redeeming of what we saw in the previous match and everything. They definitely kind of help pick the energy up a little bit in this one. Miro coming out on top, still the TNT champion. No surprise right there. I'm continuing to enjoy the good booking that they're doing of Miro. I know a lot of you guys are as well. Good stuff. Can't wait to see what's next for Miro. Personally, you ask me what future matchups I would like to see for Miro. I would love to personally see. I would personally love to see Christian. I definitely would love to see Will Hobbs. They're not really dream matches, just really cool matches I'd like to see off the break. Trying to think who else. I definitely wouldn't mind seeing a Frankie Kazarian against Miro. I think that would be a very interesting storyline. Who else they got in there? Trying to think. I wonder if they could do something there with Joey Janela. I wonder if they could do something there. And look, all these names that I'm mentioning so far, I'm not talking about dethroning Miro for the TNT Championship. All I'm talking about is just, okay, future opponents that you could. Oh, who's the one guy that looks like the freaking throwback, oh God, the Barbarian. They got some guy that's down there, and he was actually in the Casino Royale. If you bear with me a quick second, I can actually tell you the name of the guy. Let me just go back. Let me go back to my notes real quick, and let me actually look at that that one guy I'm talking about. Or actually, let me see, AEW roster. Let me see if I can actually pull up that guy's face here. I can almost see the guy. If anybody wants to try to help me out in the chat and give me his name, he's almost built like the freaking Barbarian, Elias, but more bulkier. I mean, that guy looks like $1 million fucking dollars, man. He looks like a freaking savage. I'll have the name for you guys in a couple of seconds here, because I'm actually looking at the roster right now. It's the most updated roster. And right now, yeah, I hope this is very updated, because... And don't nobody say Sunny Kiss. I ain't talking about Sunny Kiss. And no, I'm not talking about Nyla Rose either. By the way, I miss Nyla Rose. I ain't seen Nyla Rose in a good minute, man. These images, man, they're like loading up. I'm seeing the people that's on the roster, but I would rather see a list rather than hang on. I'm gonna try one more thing here. Because as soon as I mention this guy's name, you all are going to be like, oh, yeah, that fucking dude. So hang on here. Here we go. No. Is it this guy? Hang on. I think I found him. Hang on. I'm thinking it's this guy. Hang on. I can tell you guys. Yeah, Nick Comoroto. Nick Comoroto. I could see him doing so. I think him and Miro, I think that would be fucking epic. That'd be fucking epic. Look up his image for those of you that's not really familiar with him just yet. That dude fucking screams insanity, money as well. That's a guy right there I'm looking at going, you know what? You can definitely do something with that dude. 30 years of age too. He's still a young dude. I'm very impressed with what I've seen of him, thus far. So reason why I had a brain fart, because I haven't seen him enough, so his name isn't ingrained in my mind just yet there. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's see what else happened on the card here. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, taking on Shida, AEW Women's Championship, 17 minutes, 20 seconds. We got a new AEW Women's Champion as the DMD era has officially begun. Oh, I'm so fucking happy. Oh my God, dude. First of all, great match. Great freaking match. I love this. This was awesome. I gotta say, this was awesome. This was one of all the matches. Remember what I told you guys the other night? I said of all the matches I was looking most forward to, this was definitely the one where, yeah, man, I'm heavily invested in this one. These girls should definitely live up to the hype. They definitely should be tearing the house down and everything. This did not disappoint whatsoever. I was very happy with this one. Man, this was good. This was holy balls fucking good, man. What else can I say about this matchup particular? I even love the spot there where they had put Rebel, as she was trying to distract the referee and everything. And the referee, he didn't time it just right, because Rebel came in there with a crutch or whatever, from what I remember. And the referee, somehow got distracted or whatever. Britt takes that crutch. And the referee actually sees when Britt is using the crutch, but then he tried to act like he didn't see it and he almost did his body language like he was going to try to look away, but then decided, fuck, I can't really play this off. And so he just went in for and I just thought, look, me personally, I'm a stickler for detail. I just thought that was poor sloppy. I just thought that was poor sloppiness that was going on. I felt, if anything, the match just should have been called. Should have, that's it. The match is called off. Britt Baker has been disqualified, but still your AEW Women's Champion, Shida. But then it really would have been cool if we would have had, maybe Tony Khan come out or something like that and say, nah, this is a pay-per-view. We're not going to do it like this. This match is going to continue or something along those lines. But then you could definitely bring up a con argument for why that actually is not a good idea, because but yeah, I felt kind of bad for that referee, because obviously his timing was off and he really wasn't sure what to do there. So he just kept, rocking and rolling and everything. But a couple little hiccups. Definitely there was a couple of little hiccups in this matchup, but when it was all said and done, Britt Baker walking away. Look, you can't help but be very happy for Britt Baker. And me personally, no bullshit, very, very seldom, as far as my female wrestlers, who's on my list that I can watch any and everything that they do for whatever promotions, I'm definitely invested in their work. My list of female talents is very, very short. Off the break, and I've taken quite a strong liking to her. The future is very bright for her. Jade Cargill. You've listened to the show enough. I've sung nothing but really good praises of her. Another one that stands out to my mind right now is Kiera Hogan, Tasha Steelz. I love what they have been doing for that Knockouts division over at Impact. I love me some Red Velvet. Red Velvet is coming along. She still has a lot of more work to do, but I see the potential that's there and everything. She's definitely winning me over. Of course, I definitely love me some Thunder Rosa. Always have appreciated the work of Serena Deeb. Britt Baker, I pretty much was in her corner almost from day one. You know, and I don't say it to suck my own, you know what, in any type of way or anything. I say what I say right now with regards to Britt Baker because I want to really make sure it's translated to you guys. Transparency, consistency. While other shows were throwing Britt Baker under the bus, and you know they pretty much were just, it's the roasting hour of Britt Baker. I was among the select few that said, no, you know what, I see potential for her. You know, I remember with the promos. I remember being on this show and saying, look, I don't know who who's helping her with her promos. We know she's got her man Adam Cole and everything, but practice in the mirror, fire up a webcam, record some stuff. Just gotta get more and more comfortable with it, and it's gonna come in due time, especially if she's serious about mastering it and everything. The in-ring work, I felt that, okay, I'm pretty impressed with what I'm saying. Could be better. And it was one of those, okay, let's see how serious. Just keep at it. 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 Keep at it. When you keep doing something long enough, you get really good at it. That's how it is. I look at it no different than a video game. Yeah, sure. When you start off playing that video game, you suck. You die multiple times. You're trying to figure out the gaming controllers, all of that good stuff, and eventually you become a pro at it. And I remember the turning point had really came, and I was already singing praises for Britt, talking about, you know, hey, improve, but I think really that turning point in her career came when she was on that cruise. Y'all remember that? She was on that cruise and she cut that promo, and you got the infamous Tony Schiavone. What the fuck? Yeah, you got that. That's when things really started to turn the corner for her, and it was, okay, she's finally piecing it all together. You know, she's gotten it now. It's like the light bulb went off. She's finally gotten it. All right, let's see how she strings it all together. And it's been amazing this past year. You know, just full 365. It's been awesome seeing this incredible journey that she's been on, and it getting to the point of where it is right now. And do I dare say that, and I think this is a very good argument that I could make, show me otherwise, in regards to the AEW realm. I think since the inception of AEW, if you were to point out one particular star in AEW and say, hey, for homegrown talent, look at the way this particular talent has been built up and built up and built up and built up. Sure, we had our Moxleys, but let's really be honest. The Moxleys, those were transplants. We look at the who's another one? Jericho. Now look, Jericho fits the AEW cloth perfectly, because without Jericho, yeah, probably would not have been an AEW and all that, without a shadow of doubt. But when you get right down to the heart of the matter, Jericho is still a transplant. You just got to look at it like that. You guys get the gist of what I'm talking about. So when you really just strip all that away and you just look at straight up homegrown AEW talent, dare I say, unless you're able to find me somebody else on that roster, Britt Baker has been the one star. You talk about being built up properly, and what a payoff at the very end. Just seeing this incredible journey. I mean, it's probably when you just really kind of go back, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe 3 years from now, if we're probably still talking about, the rise of Britt Baker, her career and everything. I would not be surprised if in 3 years' time that still holds up that number one spot, if you will. So very, very proud to see the big payoff. And that was a nice little spot, seeing Tony Schiavone literally haul ass to, and you knew it was legit. You knew he legit was congratulating her and all of that. So definitely congrats to Britt Baker, straight from the heart. And look, while I'm on vacation, I'm definitely going to be representing. You guys know I love to get all types of different wrestling shirts and all. I got an NWA Power shirt that's on the way as we speak. I finally got a CM Punk Best in the World shirt. Don't ask me what the hell. I'll declare blue. I never did. I think what it was when I saw CM Punk a couple of years back in Chicago, I think what it was, I got 2 CM Punk exclusive shirts from the meet and greet. I refused to wear them. And it was like, okay, I need a shirt that I can. So I decided, okay, well, I think that's probably what was going on in my head. So I got a CM Punk Best in the World shirt that I'll be wearing really, really soon. But I'm definitely going to be pushing a Britt Baker shirt. No doubt about it. Definitely going to be pushing a Britt Baker shirt. And I agree with Anthony. Anthony's talking about the Miro match. He says the Miro match was great. He's a really good heel that should have debuted, like, hands down. Yes, it really felt like, not to go on and on about Miro, but let me just talk a little bit of rock music for a little bit. You know what Miro's run when he first came into AEW and all, you know what it reminded me of? What singer reminded me of the most? It reminded me a lot of Robert Plant, if you will. Because anybody that's followed the career of Led Zeppelin, of Robert Plant, there was that period there where Robert Plant had refused to play the Led Zeppelin music. He just refused. It pained him too much, and falling out that he kind of had with Jimmy Page and all that, he just, he really wanted to be his own man. And so he wanted to go out there, play his own original music and everything. And it alienated fans for a good number of years. But then as time grew on, Plant certainly had became quite fond of that history that he had built with Led Zeppelin, and it was there through revisiting the past that really had helped shape him into the ultimate singer and showman as a solo act that we've come to know, love, and appreciate today. And with Miro, it really felt as though Miro was trying so hard to get away from the past. It felt like he was trying to get away from everything that made him successful in the other company. And maybe to a certain degree, maybe Miro, and I wouldn't blame the guy, maybe in his own way, he felt as though, well, what was going on over there and how the company let me down and all this, I was just a failure over there for them. And so it felt like he was going through a identity crisis. Does anybody remember when Chris Cornell did the fucking rap album with Timberland as his producer? A lot of people just, what the fuck is, but Cornell kind of had his coming to Jesus, and he stuck to the stuff that made him most popular. I actually thought that album was pretty good, by the way, but that's just me. So you guys get, so yeah, to Anthony's point, hell yeah, with regards to Miro, everything that's been going on with him as of late, this is how Miro should have always been, without a shadow of doubt. This is how Miro should have always been. Let's see. Keep rocking and rolling here. How many more matches we got here? We're actually doing pretty good. We ain't got that many more matches to cover here. Sting, Darby Allin, defeating Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. Tag match, 12 minutes, 30 seconds. How was the 62-year-old Sting going to look in this matchup? Was Sting going to maybe go into this match without his shirt? Were we gonna see his chest? Were we gonna see his arms? What was gonna go on here? And as I was jokingly telling folks, Sting ain't taking that shirt off for nothing. You got to give him 10 grand and you got to give him some Hot Pockets. That's the only way he's going to be taking that shirt off. Well, Sting got his Hot Pockets and he got his 10 grand because he did take that shirt off. And we got to see, trademark traditional Sting. Because I don't know about you guys, but seeing Sting wrestle in a long sleeve shirt, t-shirt, I come on, man, get up off of that already. That was I don't know about you all, but that pretty much was me. It's like, dude, 62 years old, you may not have the body like you used to, but that's you got a good build going on there. Go ahead and show that bad boy off. Come on already. And look, I was really concerned about Sting. I gotta tell you, diehard Sting fan. My amigo Don Tony, he'll tell you, he'll vouch for me. I'm a big Sting fan. And for me, I looked at this. First of all, I continue to have trepidations for Sting doing anything that's physical. I continue to have trepidations because I just think about what happened in WWE. So that's where my mindset is. My mindset continues to be, I'm good. I don't need to continue to see Sting in new matches. Really, I'm good. I'm good, brother. I'm good. But we keep getting them, and it's like, okay, and it's just, for me, I'm biting my nails. Just please be okay. Please be okay. One thing that I thought was pretty interesting, there was an interview that Sting had did right before Double or Nothing. And he talked about how even though the cinematic match happened in February, he still is feeling the effects of that power bomb he took. And when I heard that, I just couldn't help but go, wait a minute, you're still feeling the effects of that power bomb? Are you serious? And his exact quote, I'm still feeling the effects of the power bomb that I took from Brian Cage. There are a few kinks I still have from that one. So a power bomb from 3 months ago still hurts to this very day. You got to forgive me if I definitely went into this match saying, God, I hope this guy is going to be okay. Seriously, because come on, man. This is my idol. It's my childhood idol here. I don't want to see anything bad happen to the Stinger here, but he pulled it off. And, not for nothing. Also in that interview, he did say that the way he goes about training, is much different. Particularly, he's got to make sure that he doesn't overtrain, and he looked really good. A couple of people were asking that wasn't able to watch the pay-per-view tonight. They were asking, how is Sting? How does he look? And, we had a couple of jokes, but, when we really just, okay, look, for real, the way I kind of felt in watching Sting, maybe you call it selfishly, but the way I looked at Sting tonight, it was, hey, how you have your parent do something and you kind of say to your parent, Dad, Ma, you really shouldn't be doing that. That's probably not a good idea. And that's kind of the vibe I had, that a few others had in watching Sting tonight. But he rose to the occasion. This was not a case where Sting was just, he's just going to come in and grand total, he's going to do about 3 minutes of some. No, Sting got in a nice amount of equal time, just as Darby Allin. I thought the way the match was initially going to play out, I thought maybe Darby Allin was going to go in here and it was going to be pretty much an ass-kicking contest with him mostly getting his ass kicked. And pretty much, maybe halfway through the match, maybe that's when Sting finally gets the hot tag. I thought maybe that's how the match was going to be built up, and you got JR and them. Go for it, son. Tag him. The man wants to get in. He wants to get in. Tag him. Reach out there. He's just waiting. The icon's waiting, and I'm just waiting to hear Tony Schiavone. It's Sting. I'm waiting for him to say that as the Stinger gets the hot tag and all. But no, like about probably, it felt maybe 5 minutes into the match, Darby tagged Sting in. Crowd popped, all that good stuff and everything. I mean, they were there in the palm of Sting's hands, and I mean, he just, especially when he took his shirt off, Sting was barely doing some stuff, and he was getting the "You Still Got It" chants and all that good stuff. I think he got that chant maybe twice during the tag team match tonight. So, but I thought that's maybe how the match was going to play out, but it didn't play out like that. Sting, after he got that tag, was definitely in there on the offense for quite a bit. Had to eventually tag back in Darby. Darby's going at it. Equal amount of time, all said and done. Equal amount of time. More than I had anticipated. I mean, Sting really went out there. No bullshit. I'm not just saying this. Sting really went out there tonight and tried to give the fans their money's worth. He really tried to go out there and give them a entertaining match. You felt that the man cared. 62 years of age, nobody would have blamed him whatsoever to just basically go in there, just phone in the greatest hits, roll the fuck out. Nobody would have blamed him for doing it, okay? Hey, whatever you got to do to, make the ends meet, keep the bills paid, it's all good, brother. No, he went out there, and, I think that is a testament. And I think the way fans should really be looking at this, they should really look at this as a testament to how he has been enjoying his run so far in AEW. Because we sadly did not get a chance to really experience all of this in a WWE universe. And let's not even touch that freaking subject, because just poor utilization all around, whether it's in the ring, outside the ring, just poor utilization all around of the Stinger. And, honestly, it's interesting too, because who knows, maybe we can get him on the show. I mean, we've done some pretty big name interviews before over the years. But, one lingering burning question that I have in my mind right now is, okay, Sting, you say you were holding out for that Undertaker match before even entertaining the idea of, getting that fusion surgery and all that. And obviously when the match didn't happen, you're pretty much, okay, you're good. I just can't help but wonder if he truly felt that, okay, you know what, I'm just going to retire under the WWE umbrella. I'm just wondering if he was really that content on not doing anything for the WWE, or if he did that as a way to protect himself physically because he didn't like what he was putting out there, all his effort, but getting back so little. You feel what I'm saying? It really wasn't that fully reciprocal for him at his end. I just can't really help but wonder. You understand? Hopefully you're kind of thinking the same way as I am, because I think that's actually a pretty good question to bring up, or if it was a case, because even when I had some words with him at AwesomeCon a couple of years back, and we did his Q&A, and I have the Q&A audio available on demand and downloads, and also on the YouTube channel. He seemed pretty adamant about, hey, look, I'm done wrestling, but if Undertaker's trying to do something, I'm there. He really seemed as though he was trying to hang on for that one match and then ride off into the sunset. But now it just, with what you're seeing of him now, it just feels like he has a revigorated spirit and all that. Let me know what you guys think, if you've been kind of having those same takeaways and all that. Good tag match. Good tag match. Great epic match between Sting, Darby Allin. So Sting, keeping track. 2-0. 2-0 in AEW right now. 2-0. Kenny Omega defeating Orange Cassidy and Pac. 3-way AEW World Championship match. 27 minutes. Way too long. Way too long, my pretty baby. Good match. Good match. Don't get me wrong. Great match. Way too long. We should have trimmed the hell out of that. That honestly should have been trimmed to about maybe 19, 20 minutes, and I think we would have been good. You know, by this point of the show, we are definitely getting restless as fans. All throughout social media, definitely getting a little bit restless. Like, damn, this is pretty good and all. Shit's good. It's popping. It's banging. Getting a little tired, though. Hey, by the way, new folks that's joining us right now, we got a poll up on Twitter and on YouTube. Twitter at the RCWR Show. youtube.com/the RCWR Show. Click on the communities tab and cast your vote. For those of you that actually saw the Double or Nothing pay-per-view tonight, sound off. Let us know what you had thought about the pay-per-view. And while you're at it, you know, you still tuned in live. You haven't commented yet about what you thought of the pay-per-view. Definitely sound off. We've definitely been showing love to everybody that's been leaving comments so far about their likes, dislikes about the pay-per-view and everything. But yeah, they really should have trimmed that triple threat match. That just, I mean, at this point, everybody's kind of getting a little bit restless going, okay, we kind of need this to wrap up already. And then it's, oh man, and we still got the Stadium Stampede. And we're like, okay, so it would appear the Stadium Stampede is what's going to close this out possibly. Okay, yeah, we kind of need to wrap this up. Like, let's go. But a good match. It was definitely a good triple threat match and everything. I don't really think anybody was surprised whatsoever by the fact that Kenny Omega retained the AEW championship. I don't think anybody is really surprised by that. It would have been nice. That would have been an interesting little shocker and everything, but no, it didn't go down the, you guys got to forgive me because as good of a match as it was, and I definitely had enjoyed Orange Cassidy more than ever before in this matchup. I tell you what, I felt that maybe, just maybe, Cassidy was going to come out of here. I felt maybe the ending, not really good. I felt not really that climactic of a finish. I wish it could have went down another way as far as the finish to the match and everything. But for what it was worth, it was a good match. I will say that it was a good match. A little disappointed. I actually brought this point up. A little disappointed that we didn't get Moose of Impact Wrestling, just to kind of help you guys be a little bit connected in case you don't know what's been going on and everything. We got Moose, that's the number one contender, that's supposed to be facing Moose for that Impact title. Moose on social media. I mean, we talked about this on the show earlier in the week. Moose putting all this stuff out there. I might show up on AEW programming, and I might go get me some of Kenny Omega and all this other. Okay, so now we got fans that pretty much you put that thought in their head that they can expect to see you on AEW programming, and it doesn't happen, when it's all said and done. It just really leaves that nasty, bitter taste in your mouth of what I've been talking about these past couple of weeks of this whole Impact AEW relationship and everything. And you're like, what the hell, right? What the hell? Impact Wrestling gives to AEW. And when it's time for them to receive, they aren't getting that same energy that they putting out back in. And it's like, yeah. So good match though. Good match between the three men. Complimented each other pretty well. Tony Schiavone is in the ring after the match. He talks about how a new show, Rampage, is going to be coming soon to TNT. And he talks about how there is a special analyst that's been signed for that show, that's been signed for Rampage. He's also a AEW coach. He introduces the one, the only, This part we saved for you guys, but it's going to change. The title's going to change after we're off the air. Mark Henry. Mark Henry is all elite. I wish I was trolling you guys, but that is not the case. And if you are keeping track at home, Randy Orton has struck yet again. I mean, you can't make this shit up. I mean, you think about it. It's hilarious as fuck. So you think about when Randy Orton was talking all that hot trash and just some of the legends that he's taken out and everything. You're going, what the fuck? So you're going, yep. Randy Orton pretty much took out Big Show. Yep. Hey, don't forget he took out Christian. Oh yeah, yep. And then who can remember? Let's not forget, wasn't that long ago? It was not that long ago. One of the last appearances we saw of Mark Henry. Mark Henry was giving dabs to people and he was in his little brown blazer jacket, no tie, button up little collar. And he was just getting around on this little scooter while his leg was propped up on it, resting and everything. And he's just, I can go in my hover round, or whatever the fuck he was pushing. And you got Randy Orton right there that's just talking mad trash to the world's strongest man. And poor Mark Henry wasn't able to do a goddamn thing in storyline. Remember that? We had Randy Orton all throughout the night. Poking fun at all of these legends. Remember? And when it counted the most, and you thought that all of these legends were going to gang up and they were going to beat the living out of Randy Orton, it didn't happen. It didn't happen whatsoever. And I remember doing that post-show after Raw, and I remember really breaking that down and homing in, because I think they had all came out for a particular segment, but they couldn't come out when Randy Orton was doing something. Remember? So now we got Mark Henry in AEW. I gotta tell you, this was a surprising move. I saw, and I was interacting with most folks, and just collectively, we all were pretty stunned by this. We're like, how? Why? I got a home in on Martha. Martha said, I hate Mark Henry. I gotta find out why. All right, Martha. Now you got my attention. Now you got everybody else's attention. Now we got to put you on the spot, and now we got to find out why you hate Mark Henry. So you got to tell us in detail. I'm not saying you got to write an essay, but you can write as long as you want to write, type as long as you want to type. But now you got to tell us why you hate Mark Henry so much. So I'll buy you some time while we talk about this a little bit more. But like the main question that we had collectively was how, why? Because we were just pretty surprised by this move. Of course, Mark Henry had been making noise in recent months saying, hey, I'm losing all this weight. You're going to be seeing me in the ring again, definitely, for sure. And I just remember when he was saying that, see, that's why I couldn't be the one to interview some of these guys, because when I'm seeing Mark Henry, put this out there, the one burning question I had was, okay, I hear you saying you're going to be wrestling, but is it going to be for WWE? That was my question. And each time I saw him do an interview after he put that out there, nobody brought that up. Nobody, to my knowledge, brought that up. And I just couldn't help but go, something's up. I felt back then something was up. And you know what? I got to beat myself up a little bit. I should have been more vocal about it to you guys and really hammer that thought in the back of you all's mind. But, wow. Long-term deal with WWE. I mean, that guy was with WWE. Jesus. Well, he was doing the strongman competition and all that stuff, but it kind of feels like 96, maybe 97 is when he signed that long-term mega year deal with WWE and everything. That's a long time. It's a long time to be with the company. A long time to be with the company. I am just so curious what happened. What didn't happen? I'm very, very curious because the last thing I remember about Mark Henry, as far as his relationship with WWE, he was supposed to be an ambassador for WWE. And he was somewhat of a talent recruiter for the WWE. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Because my mind is a little fuzzy right now, and it's almost 2 a.m, so yeah. But somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Mark Henry somewhat responsible for putting guys like Braun Strowman on the WWE radar? I could have sworn something about Braun Strowman that, Mark Henry some years back, it was him that was kind of like essentially, responsible for pointing WWE in that direction. There's like a couple of other guys that kind of are escaping me right now, sadly. But yeah, he was supposed to be an ambassador and all this other stuff. Just got his Hall of Fame ring, 2018. Remember that? Teary-eyed, not making fun of him, but he was teary-eyed. He should be here. Owen should be here. Remember that? So that is, yeah. His last appearance was the first WWE Raw of 2021. Remember? That was the Raw, it was either a Raw reunion or a Raw Legends episode. I know my mind is pretty fuzzy, but that's the best I can do for you guys. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there, but I tell you what, it gets more interesting. We're going to be hearing a lot more of Mark Henry this coming Friday on AEW Dynamite, because remember, Dynamite is going to be airing yet again on Friday. So make sure you home in for that. Great acquisition, though, when it's all said and done. That's a great acquisition for AEW. And I like how some of the people jumped out there. AEW is starting to become TNA-like because of all of these, as they like to dub them, sloppy seconds and all that. Look, at the end of the day, these guys are independent contractors. When their contracts are essentially up for some of these promotions that they're working for exclusively and all that, they can pretty much go wherever they want to go. You dig? They can pretty much do whatever they want to do. Stadium Stampede match. Inner Circle. Pinnacle. 31 minutes, 30 seconds. Shit. By the way, so much for this being an hour show, but I don't mind it because we pretty much, we had a nice little back and forth that we had going on here, between myself and you guys and all that. So I'm kind of glad that, we were able to keep rocking and rolling here, because it would have sucked to just try to cram so much and all that. But 31 minutes, 30. So in case people weren't able to figure this out, a lot of what you had saw tonight with this Stadium Stampede match was pre-taped, mixed in with live. And you could just easily tell, especially if you know a thing or two about video editing, film editing and all that, you just know when you're looking at pre-taped and all of that. Especially, the main giveaway is the multiple camera angles that's going on and everything. And just the smooth transitions that they're doing and all that, the smooth video transitions and all that. So a lot of it was pre-taped. It really didn't start becoming live until pretty much the last maybe 10 minutes, guys. Maybe 10 minutes of the match is when, okay, now it's live, and all right, they're beating people all around the arena here and all that. It was funny. It was funny seeing how the guys were pretty much all fighting in different atmospheres or whatever. Like Jack Swagger and was it Wardlow? If I remember correctly, those guys were pretty much fighting in a meat locker. They were making me hungry as hell, because it was like, okay, they got ribs. I mean, you can literally see on the freaking rack, you saw ribs. You see chicken legs and all kinds of shit back there. You're like, okay, that's what's up. That's some good eating right there. So they're pretty much fighting in a meat locker or whatever. MJF is fighting Jericho around a freaking limo. Then they eventually take it backstage to, I think, the Jaguars locker room, where they run into the coach for the Jags and one of his assistant coaches, basically. So that was a nice little brawling that was going on there. For me, what really had me tickled was seeing my man's Santino Ortiz, and it seemed like they were at a gay club, because you hear the little as Tony Schiavone said, disco music playing and everything. And I'm saying to myself, Tony, it's not that kind of disco though, brother. And all I'm picturing, don't ask me why, but the only thing I could picture at this moment when I'm seeing Santana Ortiz in this club atmosphere is Big Vito, Sopranos. And those of you that, I'm a big Sopranos fan, but for you Soprano fans out there, shout out to you. But remember the scene where Big Vito was in the club and he's got the little, he's got the freaking, he's got the little leather vest with the spikes. He's got the leather hat on. He's got that Rob Halford Judas Priest little leather hat on. And he's just dancing and everything. He's got that guy, he's having himself a nice good old time, and he gets made. He gets made by one of his acquaintances or whatever. All I couldn't do was just like, what's going on here? Like what? I was thinking about that scene, and I was thinking about Al Pacino in one of my favorite, probably one of the most underrated, darkest movies I've seen him in. It was very, very underground. Cruising. Look that up. I won't go long-winded into it right now, but look that up. If you are looking for a psychological serial killer thriller type of joint, look that up sometime. You'll thank me later. Yeah, I had all that going on when I was watching Santino Ortiz, and it's like, okay, let's see what's going on with them. And then the nice cameo from Conan. Conan fucking got the DJ off the freaking turntable, and he start playing fucking rap. I was like, now we got us a real party. Okay, cool. And they were fighting FTR and all that. By the way, I like how Santino and Ortiz, I'm a stickler for detail, sorry guys, but I like how Santino and Ortiz, they don't have neck braces on. And the only reason why I'm bringing that up, or the fact that, they aren't at least rubbing their necks and all that, remember, it was less than 30-something hours ago, or 48 hours ago, basically, that these guys had got both put through wooden tables by the FTR, and it was in the form of pile drivers. Remember that? Fucking pile drivers. So these guys just show up, just fucking no selling the hell out of these pile drivers. I'm just going, who does that? Who freaking does that? I don't know which was more worse, that spot or the fact that Jon Moxley no-sold the hell out of the Bucks super kick. How about that? Remember that one, guys? Remember that spot? Okay, let's not forget about that spot. Moxley freaking, they super kicked him and they went for the cover. And Moxley kicked out after one. I mean, he was having like a fucking Hulkamania moment right there, dude. Seriously. So, I laughed my ass off at a lot of those spots. I thought the brawling and all that was okay. I felt that there was too much camera cutting. Y'all know what I mean? Like, what's that movie that won all those awards? That Queen movie. Was it called Bohemian Rhapsody? With dude from Mr. Robot. When you look at how that movie in that one category for film editing, and you're like, wait a minute, it won an award for film editing. And you look at how it was edited. You got a person that's talking, and then, all of a sudden, like 3 seconds in, profile right. 3 seconds in, profile left, profile in, 3 seconds overhead, 3 seconds. Yeah. And for me, I didn't really like the camera cutting that they were doing of all the fighting that was going on and everything. Sammy Guevara fighting Shawn Spears. I like how that one definitely should have told you guys, okay, pre-taped, because Sammy Guevara is looking for Shawn Spears and he hears some type of metal clanging and he finds Shawn Spears in this room. It's pitch black, and all of a sudden this big bright spotlight just illuminates him as he's sitting on a chair, and he's got a steel chair in his hands as he's just ramming it down on the ground. And all of a sudden these guys just go after each other in this epic chair battle. Yeah, I felt I was watching some Dragon Ball Z type of shit. I mean, it was cool, but I felt like I was watching some type of Dragon Ball Z shit that was going on between these two guys. So, I mean, it was very creative, energy creative, what they had going on here. I mean, shit, even right down to how the Inner Circle had made their grand entrance into the Stadium Stampede. They pretty much were on little zip liners coming from the fucking Titantron of the Jaguars stadium there. They pretty much they're doing the Sting joint. You're like, oh, this is pretty cool. And meanwhile, you got MJF that's just standing right there watching these guys all come down. If that would have been me, I would have been trying to figure out a way to cut the fucking strings off those. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that, right? Yeah, that's probably a little. Yeah, let's. But, you're going to stand there the entire time and you're just going to watch those guys. You feel where I'm coming from? No, you're going to freaking, okay, I got 5 guys and it's just me. I just got done talking this hot ass promo and putting down the Inner Circle. And meanwhile, I've got 5 guys. I'm just going to stand there, the entire time watching them just casually come on down, disconnect themselves, come out to their music and all that. And they got this epic pose as all, 4 or 5 of them is just, walking. And they're just proceeding like, nah, man, as soon as I see them, I'm hauling ass. I'm hopping in that limo. I'm hauling ass. They're going to have to come find me. I'm playing hide and go seek on their ass. A little bit of silliness. There definitely was some silliness here and there, but overall, good Stadium Stampede. Trying to figure out if there was some other stuff in there that was kind of hilarious. No, nothing else is really coming to my mind right now. Nothing else is really coming into my mind. I love the fact that they gave the nod to Sammy Guevara. They pretty much in those final minutes they had Sammy and Spears be the 2 guys to ultimately find their way into the ring, and they're just proceeding to beat the hell out of each other and everything. Good finish to that one. Good finish as Inner Circle comes out on top. I was a little bit surprised that the way the match was booked, it pretty much was on the shoulders of Sammy in order to solidify the Inner Circle's victory and continuing to go on and be the Inner Circle and everything. Sammy is the one guy, and you know what? I think it's kind of fitting when you really kind of stop and think about it, because if you follow the storyline, you could almost make the argument that of all the people that truly bleeds Inner Circle, as far as individuals that through and through, never wavered, any bullshit that was going on, you could make the argument that Sammy always, he was the one guy that was very consistent, in regards to the group and all that. I mean, you could almost kind of make the argument for the other guys too, to a certain degree, but Sammy has definitely been, he's kind of like, I won't say the heartbeat, but I definitely would say the oxygen for the group. Jericho's the heartbeat, but Sammy is the oxygen. You feel where I'm coming from? So sure, Inner Circle, and we did see for that little brief period of time, Inner Circle was able to operate just fine without Sammy Guevara, but you could tell that there was something kind of missing there in his absence. So he rounds out the group pretty good. So it was actually nice that they had Sammy. They gave him this nice, cool, nice little special moment and everything. And, going into the future, you can't help but say to yourself, looking at that nice nod that they did for Sammy. And he definitely has a really big, bright career ahead of him and everything. I mean, he's still just beginning to scratch the surface of his young career. But remember we were talking about earlier as far as TNT future challengers and all that. He's definitely one. Tag team division for sure. All of that good stuff. Whole Inner Circle, they come out, they celebrate. Fans are singing along to their music, all that good stuff. Nice, good feel moment as the pay-per-view goes off the air. One thing though. I'm happy that we had this real cool moment with Inner Circle and everything. But now going forward with regards to AEW, this needs to officially seal the deal for at least 6, maybe 7 months. I don't want to hear no more about Inner Circle are at odds with each other. Are they going to break up? Inner Circle is having a therapy meeting. They're trying to hammer out their differences, as they don't see eye to eye. They haven't seen eye to eye on many things as of late. Inner Circle ultimatum. Like, we need to be done with all of that. Inner Circle, if they lose, they're no more. Okay, we've pretty much thought of like every single angle here with regards to, is it going to happen? Is it not? Is it? Is not? Okay, now we need to be done with this. It's okay if they continue to feud with the Pinnacle, but we need to be done with this whole teasing of a breakup and all of that other stuff. We just need to be done with it. Pretty good pay-per-view. Overall, pretty good pay-per-view. I would say overall. So now that I've kind of really gone through the whole process and everything, I definitely would say overall pay-per-view scale of 1 to 10. I'm still at an 8. I cannot go any higher. I definitely am not going to go any lower. So a B- overall. Definitely a B-. Sound off. Let me know what you guys had thought about the pay-per-view. I'm looking in the community section on YouTube right now, looking at the latest polling results. We got a tie right now. So 14% of you said, dude, the length of the pay-per-view, good God, I tuned out. 14% of you went with that option. And right now we got a tie at 43% for thumbs up and thumbs down. Meanwhile, looking at Twitter, let me refresh the Twitter poll here. And this is at the RCWR show. Twitter poll, I am showing 15.8% of you said, dude, the length, woof. Meanwhile, 84.2% of you said that the pay-per-view, thumbs up in your book. So I think we're definitely on the same brain wavelength on this bad boy, without a shadow of doubt. By the way, not only to myself, shout out to all of my colleagues out there in the podcasting world that is still doing a podcast as we speak, covering AEW Dynamite Fallout. I know there's a decent amount of you guys that's still doing it or planned on doing it. I got to tell you guys real quick, a lot of podcasters checking out some of the feeds and all that. I was talking to some folks in my inner circle and all that, and there was a lot of people that originally they wanted to do a pay-per-view recap, but the later that it kept going, they just said, okay, you know what, fuck this, I got to go. Brother got work, brother got school, got to go. So, and I totally respect this. Kind of like what I was saying in the Discord earlier. I said, mass shout out to those that, got work in the morning or school, and, they're checking out this long ass pay-per-view, but then they go ahead and they tune in to check out a post show to see the hosts' reactions, give their feedback and everything. Mad respect, mad fucking respect. But yeah. This was I got to tell you, going forward, if I could give one piece of advice to AEW, I know they want to try to have these pay-per-views, especially because, they pretty much do like what, really one a quarter to a certain degree, because they don't believe in that whole monthly pay-per-view model. They don't believe in that. But if I were to give just one big piece of advice to AEW, it would be this: less is okay. I appreciate you wanting to give fans their money's worth when it comes to these pay-per-view events, but you don't need to do a 3-4 hour plus event. Fans are honestly going to be okay with a 2 hour 30-minute card. Hell, even if maybe once in a blue moon you push 3 hours, I think that's okay. But, your average fan is going to want to try to be in and out under 3 hours. 3 hours tops. So, try to tighten up on the time length, right down to the point. If you can honestly just start pulling a New Japan, start pulling the WWE, and let's just make it a 2-day event. Let's split this card up. We'll do these matches. Because when you really stop and think about it, for that whole length of just, and I can't help but think about the people that were in attendance watching that pay-per-view event. I really can't help but think about that, because all those people that had to sit there for that whole length of time, add on top of that when their day began, right? Anybody that's been to a wrestling event, man, you know, especially if you're driving, yeah, you definitely got to put yourself in a good position where, okay, we got to give ourselves at least, 2-hour head start, maybe a 3-hour head start, so we can get an idea where everything is, parking, blah, blah, blah. Hit the booth so we can get some good merch, go see where our seats are, go see what food they got, all that good stuff. So, I would imagine that for those people in attendance, I would imagine just the day of the pay-per-view alone, I would imagine that was probably almost an 8-hour joint for them. So it probably almost felt like they were on their job. And then they've got that commute going back home. That's the other thing. They got that commute going back home. So now you got to think about public transportation for those that, or Lyft, Uber. There's a whole lot that you got to be thinking about. So I just hope that going forward, AEW tries to be a little bit more mindful, a little bit more conscious of things like that. And then even right down to the point, look, at least start doing your intermissions, yo. At least start doing some intermissions. Start introducing musical guests. Shit, I think that, tell me this before we roll out. How cool would that have been if, at one point during the show, you got yourself a nice little intermission and, maybe you got, they got that good TNT money, right? They got that good TNT money. You telling me you can't pay Redman, Method Man to come on out and, do a set real quick, or you fill in the blank, whoever your favorite artists are, you know what I'm saying? That would definitely complement the vibe, the pay-per-view vibe, all that good shit, the crowd, all of that. You got to think about little stuff like that. I think you definitely need to, if you're going to continue on this course and just say, nah, fuck it, we're just going to have it be one whole show and we're going to go this length or whatever. Okay, well, the least thing you can do is have it be the same length, but put a intermissional show in there that pretty much gives people the opportunity to go take their piss breaks, to go, reload on food. Some people have kids, right? So some of those kids, they, obviously not everybody's bladder is it's not synchronized, right? We get that, but you guys definitely, look, we see how it is in basketball. We see how it is in football. We see how it is in hockey. We got these little halftime joint intermissions where we can go do what we need to do. You feel where I'm coming from? So that's definitely something that they should strongly consider in the future, without a shadow of doubt. But Hey, one show down, one more to go, sadly. Monday night, after Raw goes off the air, we got the season finale of the RCWR show. I do hope that you guys will definitely tune in and represent, as that's our final show, season finale. We're going to get into the very latest, all things wrestling, entertainment headlines, pop culture, beyond. You know how we do it on there, so definitely tune in, represent. That's going to be the last show. I will not be back with you guys after that Monday show. I will not be back with you guys again until the week of June the 15th is when I will be back with you guys. I'm already working on a new show intro, already working on some new layouts, all that good stuff. So looking forward to coming back in a couple of weeks, man. Looking forward to it. But yeah, one more show, our Monday night show. Make sure you tune in for that. At least by then, everybody will have gotten their eat on, all that good stuff, chill with the family, all that, you know. So gonna be some good stuff right there. Meanwhile, you guys are getting ready to make your exit. You guys had a good time. Please go out your way, hit that like, subscribe, click the bell. Pretty much let YouTube know that, hey, this was actually pretty good, and helps YouTube push it out, recommend it to other people. Even the dislikes. Somebody was telling me the other day, they said, even if you get dislikes, that's still engagement. YouTube is still looking at that as pluses. That's actually not even a bad thing. They're looking at that as pluses. So they're still going to push your content out. So definitely, share that love. Really helps out, and it's free. Once again, shout out to our Patreon familia. You guys know who you are. Much love as always. Mass shout out to those that have been supporting the show. Continue to support the show. Our friends of the show. You guys all know who you are out there. Mad love to each and every single one of you all. Thank you guys kindly for checking out this edition. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords The RCWR Show. And until next go around, I'm wishing all of you all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Thank you for staying up with me and checking out this AEW Double or Nothing post show. Be well, my friends. I'll check you all out later. Take care.